Hi, welcome back to Modern Daze. It's been 2 weeks. It's been a long time. I've been on holiday. Other people have been on holiday. Things have been nice, actually. I don't know how about everybody else, but it's been very nice and relaxing. Um, Today's question for our players is what ties your character to the mundane realm? And this is a little bit fluid, so just forgive some of the answers potentially. So let's start with Andy. It must be me.
Ah, right. I'm saying what's okay. Right. So I'm Andy. I'm playing Berin, who's a paladin, or one of the paladins.
Druid.
Well, I thought was I druid? Is that what you decided I was? I
I
thought.
can't remember.
you're
No.
a
I think
ranger.
Cadman's a druid. You're
Yeah.
the cleric.
I think
Cadman's
you
the druid,
decided I
you're
was
the
a cleric.
Yeah.
Anyway, what ties Berin to the mundane world? That was the question, wasn't it?
That's it, yeah.
What ties it is his own personal code of honor. That he has a very distinct belief system and a personal code of honor is the best way to describe it, and that is what keeps him quite grounded.
Yes, I like that, and it's very, very fitting.
Mm-hmm.
Ian, let's go you next.
Okay, I'm Ian. I play Darrell, the Blaze Singer. Darrell's connection to the mundane world is his father, who's a influential official. Suffice to say, his sire has very little to do with him, and he's got a very dim view of him. And also suffice to say, Darrell spends a lot of his time making his dad more miserable about it.
I love that. Raphy, Tom.
Hi, I'm Tom. I play Raphy Matthews. The thing that keeps Raphy grounded is actually running the capoeira classes and karate classes, where you meet the kids and the adults and you get involved with their lives. And the vast majority of them have nothing to do with the days.
Yeah, ordinary, mundane people.
Yeah.
Kyle.
Hi, I'm Carl. I play Cadman the Paladin. What ties him
Druid.
to mundane? Cleric, all of the above.
Cleric.
I suppose it's his oath and duty to the people that ties him to it, to protect them.
I like that. And let's go Ken, because you're the last one.
Until Ben's here.
Yeah.
I'm Ken. I play Liam O'Brien, our ranger, potentially. And what ties him to the mundane world is tragedy, loss, and revenge.
Ooh.
Yes. I love it. And we have a Ben joining us a little bit later when he graces us with his presence. But we will make a point to stop and ask him that question because he's not allowed to avoid these as much as he tries. I'm going to do a little bit of a hodgepodge recap because it's been 2 weeks and I've been on holiday and so's Tom, obviously. Been on the same holiday.
So
Yeah, people have slept and been on holidays. So, from what I can remember, you guys had so Raphy and Berin had made their way over to the hotel, negotiated with Frank the barman about 2 more vessels, and Berin had made his way back to his hotel room when there was a knock at the door and Andy was waiting, asking for a chat. So that's where we've left Berin in that sort of predicament, a moral quandary. Cadman was going to head towards, forgive me if this is not correct, but you were going to head the next day to go see Gareth Smith, if that's correct. Right?
All right.
Sounds, yeah. I don't know if anybody else is planning to go on that as well, but obviously, I don't think there's actually any way to communicate with Cadman because you don't have a mobile phone. There is also spells like sending and such. So, I don't think Liam was actually doing anything, just kind of waiting out till we
He'd
go to
gone
this.
hunting, hadn't he?
Yeah.
And then had ended up back at the house, and then was just going to sleep and wait.
Yeah. So it's up to you if you want to join in on any of the other things. I'll probably say, like, you could continue hunting. We did the rolls for it last time. There isn't much else we could do in terms of hunt because of the area that you're in. So if you wanted to join along with somebody else, you can. You can also do things like explore the house, do a bit of research, etc. Hopefully, we'll get to a point in this game where you're going into the bubble realm, so everyone's back together again. Hopefully, fingers crossed.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Depending on the amount of sidetracking we do.
Yeah.
So no, then.
No, it's not going to be for another 3 episodes. You heard it here, folks.
Yeah.
And then Darrell. Where was Darrell?
Darrell
Oh yes.
was going back to his flat. He got accosted
That was it.
in the streets of Birmingham.
Yeah. And you have Ava with you now, don't you? Is it Ava?
I do, yes.
Yes. Who's obviously stayed overnight, but has said that. What did she say to you actually?
She told me that she'd come on the behest of Sir Frank.
That's right.
To give you a message that the Everreef has been stolen.
Yes.
And Queen Anne, whatever her name is.
Anya.
Anya, okay. Has fled to the Devouring Forest. And Duke Kerrigan has declared war on House Monroe. And obviously that's the house I'm linked to.
Yes.
Sorry, I've got written down that that's House Monroe is the summer court. And is
one of the houses of the summer
one of the houses. And then the other people are from House Thornton, which is the Winter Court, which is part of the Winter Court. Is that right?
Yes, Duke Kerrigan is in charge of.
Yeah. Not that I know that in character, but just
no, but yeah, it's a good reminder for those who are aware. For people that are aware of stuff going on in Ferry at the moment, it is mostly Darrell, but Liam also has some insight.
I've completely forgotten what you told me 2-3 weeks
So
ago.
a couple of sprites had spoken and said about there being the Blackwood Hounds being back in Ferry, and it was causing all sorts of upset, and there was obviously the civil war essentially happening inside Ferry now, which is kicking out all the
right. We've got some. You must have written it down because
I've got written down
shared notes.
I've got where's the shared? I got written down in my notes, not the shared notes. That the Black Hounds are elves with masks.
Yeah.
And they control those black dog-like creatures.
Yeah.
Yeah, which are just referred to as the Hounds or the Wild Hunt. So together they make the Wild Hunt, or one of the Wild Hunts potentially. So yeah, it's.
Are the Blackwood Hounds? Mm-hmm. Are they Fae or elves or?
So elves are Fae.
I know elves are Fae, but
yeah. So I see what you mean. As far as you know, that I say as far as you know, as far as what's been told to the general audience and to individual players, the elves, the Blackwood Hounds are elves of some sort, which are just counted as Fae in terms of thematics, and then you've got like Archfae, which are like proper Fae creatures, though may appear like elves. You won't know the difference between them unless you know. So someone like Darrell would know, but I'd let him know that he knew, if you know what I mean, because that's an added way of how my story works in that sense.
Okay.
And I don't want it to mess with anybody's sense of mechanics either. Yes, so I think that's... So we left everyone there. I don't think... I was about to call him Spot then. Hendrix has been doing anything, because he wasn't there at the last game, was he?
No.
I believe so. He's actually just been in the library loitering around. Potentially he might have gone back, but we'll cover his stuff when he gets to it. I don't know really where to start at the moment.
I think you need to start with. I think you need to start because I don't think we'd resolve. I think Lady Andy had knocked on my
Yes.
door, but I don't think we'd actually
resolved anything. No,
Yeah.
I kind of left it there, sort of as a
There's a weird thing happening.
Yeah, I'll start with you then, and then we'll kind of decide in what order we do things. But obviously, remember that, we'll get stuff if you think about what it is that you want to do. Okay. So Andy is standing there outside your hotel door. To refresh your memory, I will put up the picture of.
I've already done it.
Already have.
I've already put it up.
Yeah. So that is Andy. Is everybody else be able to see that, or?
Nope.
No.
Okay.
It's
sorry. Might be worth a share then. Let me see if I can find her. I've got too many notes. Far too many notes. No, that's Ava. Silly. There she is.
You went to the Andy School of note taking.
Has that popped up for people?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So that is Andy. She's quite young looking, probably between 18, 19, maybe pushing 20. She's kind of ambiguous. Oh, my camera. I'm not going to turn it off and on again because that's just going to mess up the whole thing.
How old's Darrell?
Well, Darrell's not there, so it doesn't matter.
I thought, oh, that's
Baron.
Andy's got. Who's Andy got? Ian got.
Baron. Oh, Ian's got
Ava.
Darrell. Ava, yeah.
Ava.
Yeah. There's a lot of weird stuff with women happening.
how old's
at the moment,
Baron?
Sorry.
How old's Baron?
That's a FOIP question, sir. Find out in play.
He looks to be in his early 40s.
Andy's quite fit.
Yeah. I thought you meant our Andy.
Hey.
He's not fit. Look at him.
Oh.
Wow, that was mean.
There's something there about pots and kettles, but anyway.
Yeah. Anyway.
Never said I was. Never claimed to be anything else. I am doing the couch to 5k though.
Well done. I went on the app once. It wore me out just looking at it.
Ken, you are my hero.
At least I'm not your heroine, so.
Right. Anyway,
Okay.
so
Yeah.
this girl Andy, who we'd seen, right,
Yes.
just to remind, we'd seen her in the bar of the hotel. I hadn't recognised her, but Raphy had.
Yes.
Raphy had told me who she was, but I didn't really just knew who she was. Didn't know much more. Correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's met her a couple of times.
Yeah.
That's it.
And she seemed to be furtively looking at us. Baron had assumed she was looking at Raphy.
Yes.
And then she's come and knocked on. She seems to have found my hotel room door and knocked on it.
And she said, "Can we talk?" And as I think Baron said something along the lines of, "Is it important?" She was like, "Yes, it's important," and looked down towards your chest area where
That was
obviously,
it.
yeah.
Okay, I shall. Baron will give her a rather sort of steely gaze, trying to figure out what she's about.
Give me an insight. Give me an insight check. Let me roll for Andy actually, just because.
Oh, don't bother.
No, is it not worth it?
9 total.
Oh, well, no, yeah, it's not worth it. She's got the look of, I'd say even with the 9, you notice that from when she was when you first saw her in the hotel lounge area, she seemed very bright, chirpy, quite like the picture, very carefree.
Yeah.
If you I noted that she was wearing Heelys, and she'd kind of Heelys out and everything. So quite sort of childlike wonder sort of about her.
Mm-hmm.
She definitely looks a lot more serious now, and there's almost an age to her that you hadn't seen before, and you're looking at her thinking, oh, actually she could be sort of like in her late 20s maybe. So
okay,
it's that's about as much as you're going to get out.
I shall stand back and let her into my hotel room then.
So she slips through the door and
I
sort
shall
of,
close the door.
yes. So she waits for you. She doesn't go too far in, and she turns to look at you. You can see her eyes are flicking between this spot on your chest where you know that your amulet is.
And if you remember,
And
my
your
my hotel room was quite. It's not
Spartan, isn't it?
Spartan. It's not.
Ish.
It is not like a monk's sort of cell, but
No.
it is quite. It's got a basic bed, a basic
Yeah.
single bed, a basic. There'll be a desk with a single chair,
Yes.
and I shall offer her the chair and then sit on the bed myself.
She actually says, "No, it's okay. I won't be long. I need to be somewhere else." But, and she looks at you in the eyes and she says, "Are you aware of what it is that you carry right now?"
Yes.
How? How did this come to be?
What do you think I carry?
You carry someone very, very, very old and powerful.
Yes.
And she kind of be like, she has a moment where she contemplates something, and then she says, "May I?" And she kind of goes to like touch your chest, where the amulet would be on your chest.
I grip her hand and stop her.
Okay. Okay.
What do you wish? Who are you? Why did you ask? Why have you come and asked me these questions?
I am an old friend.
Of who?
Though perhaps to your friend quite young. She says, "I knew that he was here on our plane. I thought he was dead. We all thought he was dead."
Who are you?
My name's Andy.
No.
Andy Powell.
No. What is your real name?
Are you trying to hide any part of your personality or who you are right now? Because she's going to do an insight on you.
No. I'm actually trying to intimidate her,
Okay, yep. Roll me an intimidation.
which
check
I
then.
suspect will fail because I'm not particularly
Potentially,
good
you
at
don't
it.
know.
Nat 20, come on.
Yeah, go. For it.
Oh,
22.
not
Nice.
far off.
Oh, hang on. Oh, maybe this chat might go very differently. Oh no, my computer's playing up. I'm sorry.
It was 22. The result.
Okay. Yeah, no, it's all, I'm trying to get her thing up, but it's being slow. So bear with me 2 moments. Ooh, interesting. And I bet Ben comes online now.
Yes,
Just
just
as
asked.
yeah. Where are we? There we are. Come on.
Going slow because Ben's logging on.
Probably.
He's slowing everything down.
He's into roll 20.
Yeah, I know.
That's gonna actually roll. Oh. So she's rolled a 14 on insight, which I don't think gives her a great deal of information. She probably gets that you're quite serious about this interaction. You're clearly not taking it very lightheartedly at all, which is, very telling. She can tell that you know exactly what it is that you hold.
Mm-hmm.
And you are asking these questions in such an authoritative voice, perhaps an old soldier's voice.
Yep.
That is quite intimidating.
And also definitely an old noble's voice as well.
Yes, like as
But-
in, how dare you?
Yeah.
Yeah, the audacity.
Well, not using those words, but yes,
No.
that the voice of someone who is expecting to have his answers his questions answered.
Yeah. So you see her shocked for a moment. Like, here we go. She seems surprised at your tone of voice, as if she's never been spoken to like that before. And you see also, make me another insight check, because now this is a new thing that's going on right now.
Another insight check.
Yeah, just for this part of the. Yeah, you can see that. I'm
rolling really well.
20, yeah, really well.
You jinxed it now.
Yeah, that's it. It's going to be ones all game. You see that that shock is immediately replaced by a similar feeling to what you're feeling like now, like a absolutely how dare you. So you can kind of glean from that what you wish, and then it softens and it turns into fear from the intimidation. And she blanches a little bit, goes white, much paler than she is usually, and she says, maybe I've made a mistake. I should go. I need to leave.
What is your name?
My name is Andy.
Right. Can I tell from that insight, is she lying about that?
Yes. Well, it's hard. So she is telling you a name that she has. Mm-hmm. That is the name that she goes by, but you can tell that is not the full truth.
Okay.
She says, perhaps I should have done this in a more neutral way.
We are where we are. Why did you choose to contact me?
She sighs and she says, I am one of the old ones. We would have been referred to as gods, I suppose, a long time ago.
So
my name was Andresti.
Andresti.
And I will
stick that in the.
The person. Oh, can you actually see that? Is it posted to me or to? Okay.
No, I've got it.
She says, the person that you are carrying with you is a lot older than I was, and I am significantly, well, not in this current form, but quite old.
Can I do a religion check on that, please?
You can absolutely do a religion check. It's going to be quite high, though. So, never fucking mind. Okay. Jesus fucking Christ. Before I answer that, hi Ben.
Hi Ben.
He's ignoring us now. Yeah.
He's got to work out on mute himself again, isn't he?
Yeah.
He might be...
can't get off mute, damn it. Yeah. Hi guys.
Hiya.
Hi Ben.
Oh.
Before we go any further, you need to tell us what ties Hendrix to the mundane realm.
Oh crap, yes. I have thought about this, honestly.
Oh.
No.
What a surprise.
We can't see his face, so we know he's lying.
Yeah. He's quickly noting stuff down.
He doesn't even know
I
stuff
don't think
down.
quickly. I think deeply. That's just an excuse for being crap. So I guess Hendrix tie to the mundane world is through other dogs, maybe, and old biddies, and like kids that he kind of befriends on the street and cons for food.
That's quite cool, because that it tells a little bit about what Hendrix is like in terms of not just his stuff, he's part of the community still.
Yeah.
Even though you're a magically talking dog.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, but I don't think he's actually got any sort of friends as part of the the mundane community. It's just
Yeah.
those people that will
Think that he's just a dog.
befriend the stray dog. Really.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, that's nice. Thank you for that.
So mad old bag ladies.
Yeah.
Gin ladies. So Beren, you have you've heard this name Andrasti. You suddenly remember from you poring over books in your search through different deities throughout the ages, because different things might mar up. You know for a fact that some gods in some pantheons are actually gods in other pantheons as well, and they just change their name and become that god throughout the ages and years and things. Andrasti is actually a fairly minorish goddess. She was the goddess around the area of the Iceni, so in Britain, Essex sort of area.
Boudicca's area.
Yes, so Boudica worshipped Andrasti as a goddess, and she brought her to victory. She was the goddess of a lot of things were, especially when you're like a local god, if you know what I mean, a small area of purview, you're the goddess of like everything: victory, farming, fertility, birth, etc. Not just one thing, kind of like the bigger gods might be, where it's like death or war or something like that. She kind of covered a lot of different things, and her name kind of fell out of vogue after the Romans came over. You don't know of any followers or worshippers of this person, and she certainly does not look like a god right now. She looks like a teen girl.
I shall having realised who she's claiming to be,
yeah,
I shall take a step back and
Yep.
bow, so not deeply, but bow slightly formally to her.
Yes.
And say, my apologies. I do know who you are. I will assume that you are telling me the truth. How can I help
No
you?
reason to lie. You are carrying, and she points to your chest. Do you realise how much of him is in there?
It is merely and his confusion is clear on his head, and he's not even trying to bluff.
Yeah.
I thought it was merely his symbol.
No, you are a bearer of possibly the last piece of him. And I am quite surprised to have seen somebody just walking around with it. I will say that you are incredibly lucky to have... I don't know how long you've been holding on to this piece, but it is, for someone such as myself, highly recognizable. And I would be careful. I want to help.
How can you help?
I want to offer a form of protection. I need to speak with him first, though. Do you mind? And she holds out her hand.
I think I should speak with him first.
By all means.
Can I suggest you return to the bar, and I will join you there shortly?
How about this? And she takes out of her pocket and she writes down an address on a piece of paper, and she hands it to you. I need to be somewhere. But when you are ready to talk, it does not have to be soon, but do not leave it too late. Come find me here. You will find a woman called Frankie. God, I just realised there's a lot of bloody Franks in this game. Um, ask her to contact me, and I will meet you in Epping Forest. But do not leave it too late. What is your name?
My name is Berin,
Baron.
or at least that is my name now.
I can appreciate that. Well, Baron, go with luck, but
My conversation with him will be short. You cannot wait. You have to leave urgently. You cannot wait.
my conversation with him might be lengthy, and I will need space to contact him in.
Okay, I will speak to him and then contact this Frankie.
Be careful. It could be dangerous what you are carrying, like a small nuclear. And she opens the door and leaves. Is there anything that Baron wants to do in this moment? Do you want to have the chat now?
He locks the door and then starts praying to his god.
Okay. You find a space for yourself to sit, meditate, and pray. And it takes you a few moments. When was the last time do you think that Baron actually spoke to his god?
Well, he prays to him regularly.
Yes, but I'm talking spoke to him.
He can't remember.
Cool, brilliant. That's perfect. You start to pray an offering of conversation to him. You can't remember the last time you actually spoke with him, and the memory of ever having spoken to him seems so far away and hard to reach, fuzzy, as if there is a memory there. You have definitely spoken to him, but you can't remember how, what he sounds like, anything.
Mm-hmm.
And as you push through that communication request, there is a response, but it's not what you think. It's a warmth on the amulet, as if it was also being held by something of the same body temperature as yourself, and a feeling of what would it be? I suppose a query as to why you are trying to contact him, but it's not in any words.
Okay. I shall. I think I'm quite old-fashioned in the way that I worship, so I shall speak aloud. And I shall say, my lord, I have just been approached by someone calling herself Andresti, who claims to be an Iceni, a god of the Iceni, who were an ancient British people.
You feel like a pulse of when you say Andraste and the Iceni people, you do feel a pulse of recognition. This almost like you're communicating via emotion through this amulet, and you get a weird weird sense of sadness, and as if this he's trying to communicate but can't quite get through.
Okay.
As if he's trying to also breach this gap between you, and which is perhaps a little worrying.
She wishes to speak to you by holding the amulet. And she has warned me that it is dangerous for me to be carrying the amulet around without protection.
You get like a feeling of affirmative. Yes to talking. Yes to dangerous being carried around. But also a feeling of, what else are you going to do? Like, there is no other option. You do also get a feeling of attachment suddenly, as if the amulet feels very, very heavy. Almost as if it's like, don't take me off.
Okay.
Yep. And then it starts getting quite distant. The feeling of the communication that you're having becomes less and less, and eventually kind of trails off.
As that starts to drift off, yeah. I shall say, I will organise this as soon as possible.
You get a
my
very
lord.
Low and soft affirmative.
And then I will go straight to sleep because I'm having an early start.
Yes. You also suddenly feel very tired, as if you've overexerted yourself.
I'm going to sleep. One question: the address for this woman, Frankie, where is that? Is that?
It's going to be in Epping somewhere.
It's in Epping. It's in Epping. Okay, right.
It's an address of someone in Epping.
Right. Okay. I will be driving there promptly the following morning.
Okay? Yeah, fair enough. Let's go to someone else for now.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Perfect. Let's go to Darrell. Darrell, you wake up in the morning.
Yeah.
Knife in your chest. You see that Ava is already awake. And tell me if this is wrong, but I imagine that there's a large mirror in the living room somewhere.
Of course, yeah.
Of course, yeah. So she seems to be like doing her hair and makeup and everything like this in the mirror. Again, she's wearing this kind of weird mishmash clothes of things that Fae peoples think humans wear, which still doesn't look bad. I mean, she's still quite, she's stunning, but like it's a look. And she's just getting ready. She's obviously early bird and wants to probably leave. She looks around and sees that you're awake. She goes, "Sorry, I wanted to be ready to leave when you awoke. I hope I didn't disturb you."
No, not at all. We need to start early anyway. I've got a bit of a quandary as to how to get you to safety. Are you here? Is your visit here sanctioned?
No. I had to break through. I believe that over the next couple of days your Mages Council will have a lot of problems to deal with. There were quite a few people seeking refuge in the mundane realm. It has gotten to a point in Fairy. The lands of Monroe and Thornton have swelled in size because of the war, but the hedge has started to push fairies out. Fae people. So you know that the hedge between the realms kind of acts like a border between their, like almost like a county line border.
Yep.
Except it's a very physical hedge and it's magical and almost sentient, and will move depending on where the power is. So in times of war, you know that, say, like House Thornton might be receiving help and aid and allyship with other usually unseelie houses. It will swell in size, and that's how the wars are fought, because they don't kill each other. It's almost like territory, and they'll claim other houses and capture, and which is what Ava has warned you about as well. Your capture could be quite important to this war.
I don't really concern. I'm not concerned particularly about my own safety. I'm likely to be out of the way fairly soon in a place where Thornton and Duke Kerrigan won't be able to reach me. But your safety is more my concern.
I have completed what I needed to do. I do have places in this realm where I can stay, and trust me, no one can find me.
Okay.
But I was sent here by Frank to make sure you were safe, so now we are at a quandary. How about this? Whatever it is that you need to do, go and do. And if you return and in need of help, I will be here. But if I may ask, if you are going to find Frank, can I come with you?
Yes. No, without a shadow of a doubt. Your knowledge will be a great aid. My concern is that I'm not of the royal family. So
yes.
I'll have to work out how we're going to do that, but it will be my intention to seek to aid him.
Perhaps all we need is someone from the royal family, because of course Sir Francis has entered into the Devouring Forest with Queen Anya, which suggests that not as long as the party is with the royal member. Yeah. We can perhaps try to cross that bridge when it comes to it. For now, I actually have somewhere I can go.
Okay. I tell her my sort of contact routine with Summer Night and say, well, I shall return there after I've finished, and any message or anything can be left there behind the mental clock.
Behind the clock, okay. I will be sure to leave you a message and check it regularly. I don't think there's any way that you'll be able to contact me when I go into hiding, so I will, when you reach out, I will be there.
Fine. Are you safe getting to your hiding place, or do you need assistance?
I believe so. It's daytime now. It's our time. And you know also that Sealy work a little bit better during the daytime and Unsealy during the nighttime. So she has the advantage to be as it is daytime now. She seems quite confident and seems to know where she's going.
Actually, I said before you go, again, I'm going to call on your potentially greater knowledge. A number of times over the past few days, I've seen a creature that's clearly fey, but I don't recognise it. One of those times was at Sir Francis's house when I discovered we'd been ransacked, and I described a cat with horns. That I'd seen. Is this a creature you're aware of?
No, I've never seen that before. I mean, I've heard of creatures like this, of course. It has been described to me, but I've never seen it with my own eyes.
Okay.
Are you sure that this mansion is safe?
Well, clearly it has been attacked once, but they found nothing.
I would be
not
cautious around it then.
Yeah,
perhaps.
for sure. Yeah.
Well, I will try to keep an eye out and contact you if I need to. Try not to use my name. If you are to write a letter, you may refer to me as the Sparrow.
Okay, no problem.
And would you do you have a name that you choose to go by in Fairy?
Yeah, it's not. It's quite well known. It's a Landerill.
Elandra. Okay. It is good to see you well, Elandra. And Sir Francis would be pleased to know that you are well. I will visit the mansion often, and if you allow her to, she'll like go down the many steps to the exit.
Yeah.
And she heads out into the city for the moment.
Okay.
You gonna?
I'll send Remy out to
Okay.
shadow her, just to make sure that follow as far as he can. I'm sure at some point she's going to go around a corner and she's not going to be there when he gets there.
Roll me a stealth check just for Remy, just so that she
Sorry, I got my head around this.
Oh my god. Oh, my computer's gone funny.
Let's shoot.
Back to normal now.
Stealth.
Oh blimey, I can't.
Oh dear.
Oh.
Out during the day is a problem, isn't it?
let me roll just in case. Yeah, no. So you catch a point where he follows her for a few blocks, and just as you imagined, the last thing she does is as she's getting to a certain part in the city, quite a few blocks away now, in her bag, she takes out another coloured hoodie, changes it for the one she's in, sort of next to this alleyway. As she goes to pull up the hood, she looks up at Remy, winks at him, and disappears. So, yeah, she's gone now.
Okay.
What is Darrell doing this fine morning?
I think he's ticked all the boxes he needed to before the sort of go into the bubble realm. So he's going to head back to
the Bellevue Manor.
Because he's now actually tweaked himself to think, oh, I'm going to see if there's anything in the library about this cat creature.
Okay, yeah, perfect. Jug of doom in hand, off you go on your motorbike, off to the mansion. We'll get back to you in a bit then.
Yep.
Raphy, I believe that you had headed home after the hotel.
Yes.
Where are you heading now? I think we said that you'd gone to sleep and now it's the next day, so we'll do next day.
Next day, I'm actually going to give these guys a bell. Probably who's incompetent? Ian. I'm going to give Darrell a bell.
Not Darrell, Ian.
Yeah. I'm going to give Darrell a bell.
Okay. Ring.
You get him on his hands free as he's riding his bike at the moment. But yeah.
Darrell, it's Raphy. How are we doing, Chief?
Not too bad. Yourself?
Yeah, not bad. Listen, I had a bit of luck getting the bottles. Did we say we were meeting back at the Bellevue today or tomorrow?
We're meant to be going today, weren't we? So I'm heading straight back there now.
Right. No worries. I'll jump in the car and head on up there. I'll meet you there. I've got a couple of phone calls to make first.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay. So who are you phoning next? And I'm assuming this is on transit or?
Yeah.
Okay. So you start heading off public transport or?
No, I've got the van.
You got the van. Cool.
Of course, got the van.
Is it Robin Reliant?
Yeah.
I've got 4 wheels, so.
The Morris Minor.
I'm going to give Ozzy a bell first.
You don't have. Oh no, wait. Renee did send you the number, didn't she?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. You after like a ring, it goes to voicemail, so it's automatically set to voicemail.
Yeah.
You just hit Ozzy, and then the beep sound that you can leave a message.
Yeah. Aussie, mate, it's Raph. Listen, I haven't seen you down at the Capoeira Club for a bit. Just checking up to see how you're doing. Give us a bell back. Cheers, mate. Bye.
Cool. Roll me a deception check.
Deception.
Well,
Maybe-
I'm saying deception because it's clear that what you want to do is talk to him about something specific, whereas you're trying to make it sound like you're just catching up. If you don't think that that's correct, then it doesn't matter. You rolled a 1.
I rolled a 1. That's fine. So,
Cool. You don't get an answer for right now.
yeah. No, I wasn't expecting one.
Okay.
Um,
And who else are you gonna ring?
So, obviously, I know a few people who are in the gang scene.
Okay.
You need to send those things to me and to Ben, I think it is.
Yeah.
I
know. I've been on holiday, man.
Yeah,
You were there.
I know. Somebody from that list who I might know.
Someone on the list that you might know.
Because I've known on.
I actually don't. I think Ozzy was the only person you actually know enough to give them a ring. You know of a few names, but I'm going to say you don't have any phone numbers for them.
Okay. No worries.
Yeah, because they are. Although it is very much sort of like a rude boy gang, there is also quite a seriousness behind it because of what they're dealing with, who their bosses are.
Yeah.
So it's beyond just.
So none of them have come down to the club for training then.
A couple of them would have, probably to hang around with Ozzy, but I feel that roll me a luck check. If it's above 15, I'll say you have somebody's contact number that
Straight
potentially,
D20, yeah.
Just a straight D20 as a luck check. You son of a bitch. Okay.
Karmically balanced again.
Yes. Okay. All right. You have. Oh, I know who you have. You have a phone number of a guy called Cheese.
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 Z-E or
S-E?
S-E?
No, S-E.
Cheese.
His name's Mac, so they call him Mac and Cheese.
Yeah.
You know that he's a quiet, although they go around going, "Yo, man, what's up?" Blah 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 blah. It was one of those people that you didn't want hanging around the club because he's deep in that whole scene of the gang stuff. Not a good person to have hanging around. You can basically, there was a number left on one of the permission, like a consent slip that you have to sign before you actually start doing the club thing, just to say, yes, I know it involves flips and turns and such, so I'm not going to sue the person who owns this establishment. So there is a number on there. You go to ring it, again it goes straight to voicemail, but like you can either send a text message to it or a voicemail. It's up to you.
Do a voicemail.
Okay. What do you say?
Yeah.
This person you've met, I'd say maybe twice.
Yeah, no worries. Mac is Raphy from City Capoeira. Come into a bit of info that might be useful for you. Give us a bell back. I'll speak to you in a bit. Cheers, mate.
Okay, cool. Give me a persuasion check.
Okay. Slightly better. No.
Okay.
Do I know what gang he was affiliated to?
Yeah, he's FOA.
FOA. Okay.
Yeah.
He's quite deep in that scene, yeah?
Yes. Roll me a history check, just to remember anything about this guy.
Okay.
DC's 14, I think. Yeah. you remember that this guy hangs around with a group that are very close to 6. As
Him
in
in particular.
his boss is specifically very close to 6. His boss is called JJ.
Okay.
And potentially you might be able to get to have a chat with this guy, but you know that it's probably not likely to be today.
Yeah.
If you needed to organize anything.
Yeah.
So
no worries.
Are you happy to leave it there?
Yeah.
Cool.
And then I'm heading up to Bellevue.
Cool. Liam, you are currently at Bellevue, and so is Hendrix. Why do I keep going to call you Spot? Spot the dog and Buffy the vampire are currently. Is it Spike? It's Spike the vampire. What are you two doing currently, if anything? If not, you can just wait until these guys arrive.
You want to go first?
Yeah. Okay. I was going to, after I got back, have some rest and then look in the library to see if I could find anything about what the Fae Masili told me.
So the Blackwood Hounds. There could be potentially some info in there. Roll us a investigation. Yeah, it'd be investigation.
Muttering to myself, oh no, there won't be anything here for sure. Wasting my time, but I
tell you what, Dusk will give you advantage on this one. She's also a little curious.
How do you roll with advantage? Is that hold down alt?
Shift, I think.
Shift, is it?
I think. If it comes up with a plus, then you can roll it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty good. So, Blackwood Hounds, you find, because of obviously Lord Renwick's books are all very geared towards objects, you find an object documented in a, it's almost like a written diary book. So this is a one-of-a-kind book in his library that's documenting whoever did this, wrote this book's experiences with certain magical objects around, from flicking through the pages through Britain. There is a nicely drawn sketch of a very finely, intricately carved silver mask that looks very similar. Though the design seems slightly different, but it is very definitely this mask. And it is documented on there that the mask comes in built with a few properties, which obviously you didn't investigate when you actually picked up the mask last time, because you didn't really have a chance to be fair.
Gave it back, didn't we?
Yeah, you gave it back. So the mask has an inbuilt ability to be able to communicate with anybody else wearing a mask. So these masks also mask, excuse my overuse of this word, the voice of the person speaking, so you can never really tell who it is. It always sounds quite flat and toneless. What was the other? Sorry, I'm going to have to look up the item that I had. Excuse me a moment. Oh, hang on. I can just... My computer's on a real go slow today. I'm very sorry. I say today. It's like that every week. I don't know why. So you can communicate telepathically. With someone within any creature that is wearing one of these other masks within 1 mile of you. Though that range does seem to be increased when they're actually in fairy. So it seems to be a lot further, though this person doesn't know how much further. They can also be used as like a device to, almost like a recording device of what's going on. So it is specifically designed to be secretive, hide the identity of the person, almost like maybe assassin-y vibe sort of on there.
Spy kind of thing.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
The link with the Wild Hunt is that these masks were made and given in secret to a secret society of elven fae. And they are the people that they were given to are unknown specifically. But they consider themselves exempt from Fae law, like above it. So one of the Fae laws is they don't kill other Fae, they don't lie, they don't there's various other things in Fae law. They're like the assassins that will go around just getting rid of problems, but they're like the Fae story boogeyman. They're the true horror.
What were you saying about the Wild Hunt? You said.
So the link with the Wild Hunt is that they can go on these. They can call a hunt against anyone that is against their agenda, but you'll never know who they are. It is supposed that they imagine that these masks are passed down in families. And there's maybe 6 or 7 of them, one of which was originally in the possession of the person who's written this book, and now that another one is in the possession of the Mages Council, as it's one you've given them. But nobody knows the identity of these families and who has them and who keeps them specifically. It would to be revealed as somebody to have this this lineage of holding on to one of these masks and passing it down the bloodline is almost like coming out and saying you're part of the KKK. It's quite extreme. It likely would mean a big spot on your social reputation for sure. So yeah, supposedly the Mages Council or the Mundane Realm has 2 of these masks, and it's suspected maybe 5 exist still in Fairy. Yes, I think that's everything you get with a 23. But there is a lot of different things in terms of the last time the Blackwood Hounds were around. I'm going to say probably about in the 1800s-ish, maybe late 1800s, was the last time that they really were seen to be a thing, and then things calmed down. I'd say that there is, you do find something, because you roll quite high, there is a link there, something to do with werewolves and the Fae. There is a story in there at the end of the 18th century, not the 18th century, the 1800s, I should say, the 19th century. The name Hooligan comes up, and the stories of Hooligan's Hold, which is the extra dimensional realm that the Mages Council control, which is kind of like the prison for like all the things that they can't control and keep it in an actual prison. It's like the realm of exiles.
Oh, okay.
They had built Hooligan's Hold to contain this very powerful werewolf that was causing a lot of problems for people in Britain. And somehow there is a link between the Fae houses, or one of the Fae houses. It doesn't note it in the book.
It doesn't say which one.
Yeah. And this werewolf clan, and having some trouble there.
Is one of the Fey houses that's at war, or is it just one of the Fey houses?
It just says one of the Fey houses. The person who wrote this book doesn't seem too up to date with the different houses.
And it could be an old book anyway.
It could be, a very old book.
Yeah.
It looks like it's probably not any older than the 50s. So still quite
say
newish.
the name of the werewolf?
Hooligan himself, Patrick.
Oh,
Patrick O'Hooligan.
That's how it got the name.
That's how it's got the name. They created it just to hold him. He was so powerful they couldn't contain him. Patrick himself was a very, very powerful werewolf.
And it's the Hooligan family, is it?
O'Hooligan.
It's the O'Hooligan family.
O'Hooligan. So there is some link there, but it's somewhat tenuous, and there's a bit more of a story behind that. But that's not going to be super outlined in this particular diary, but certainly a good starting place.
Okay.
All right.
Yep. Cool.
Cool.
I'll add that to the shared notes.
Nice. Thank you very much. Hendrix. Hello.
Also, can I just add with Hendrix? Liam's a loner and he's quiet and he doesn't really say much and he's a bit miserable. But I'd expect that Hendrix would probably pick up on the fact that Liam seems more comfortable around Hendrix when Hendrix is on his own, and just kind of feels a bit like I don't know, a bit happier, or kind of not happy because he's never
comfortable.
Happy,
I think it's the word. Comfortable.
There
is
a
feeling.
As a support dog is done.
Literally. Glad I could be of service. Hendrix, is there anything that you wish to do?
I think he's quite interested in the research that Liam's just done, and as well. But I think he does get up and have a little sniff around the place. Just because it's an old house, just looking for anything that might be kind of hidden. Like, are there any secret doors or secret stashes of sausages or
it? Okay. Give me an investigation check, please.
Also, because I've got like thief signs and stuff, whether there's any kind of
if there's anything to do with thieves can't or anything like that, I will let you know. Yeah.
Right, what am I doing? I remember how to play this game, honestly.
Yeah, totally. Same.
Investigation. There we go.
Oh, it's coming all the way from Scotland again.
Did that come through?
No.
Yeah.
22. Nice. Very nice. Okay.
+9.
That's true. Roll. Yeah, it's a shit roll actually.
No, it's above average.
It's a rookie number.
Rookie.
You go for a good old sniff around, and I think actually you go past like Darrell and Lord Renwick a few times, and they forget you're a person. They just think you're a dog, and they like ignoring you almost rudely, but they forget that you're like you're deep in this investigate sausages. Yeah, you find sausages. You do find sausages, actually. You do find sausages, and then you carry on your little search, and you go through. I'm going to bring you over to the map here. I know you're all on it. Let's get rid of. Well, not get rid of, because everybody's actually going to be here again soon at some point. Actually, I'll leave everyone there. Just ignore that they're everyone gathered there. Okay. But you go for a good wander. You go all through these rooms. Can you see my pings?
Yes.
Yeah. So all of these sort of rooms are like single beds. They almost look like student quarters, or apprentices' quarters, that sort of thing. What you can kind of see on this map is what you can see. I think up, if you go to the next floor up, and I'm pinging on this floor as well. These ones are sort of like maybe a more senior person's quarters in terms of if this was some kind of school or something. You do catch a couple of symbols around the house, sort of not hidden, but they're just so in part of the decoration, little statuettes and metal made plaques on the wall and things like that. You see a symbol of what looks like an anvil crossed with a type of weapon of some sort. You don't recognize it unless you're going to roll me a religion check.
Right.
Yeah,
Not my-
I'm not sure
I
it's
don't
your
think
strong
it's
suit,
my
which
thing.
would make more sense, but you never know. You might have
I'm
heard
not a
this
religious
person.
dog. There aren't many around, to be fair.
Yeah. I don't know. I reckon Lassie is like a cleric.
Quite possibly, yeah. Go.
And
Yeah, it's pretty rubbish.
yeah, you have no idea what this is.
Nope.
But it's fairly often enough for you to notice, and you kind of investigate around these sort of areas. Nothing leads to like a revolving doorway or secret stairs or anything like that. This home does seem to be fairly void of secret compartments. One thing you do notice is that in this room over here, which is second floor, I'm pinging it on, in the green themed bedroom, it seems to be, you can't get in there. It's locked.
Okay.
You've seen Daria come in a couple of times. She always locks it behind her. And from the scent underneath the door, you know that that's her room.
All right.
So that is where she lives. She stays. She seems to stay in the mansion because of how sick Lady Renwick is. So apart from that, you do find sausages, as I said, so you can munch on those. What else? I think that's kind of it, really. This house isn't super interesting in that sense.
Okay.
You do go for a wander outside, and there's a few little gems around this house in terms of like clearly magical things.
Okay.
Artifacts that are on the walls, not a great deal of them, maybe 2 or 3. And then you go out into the garden and there's like weird shit. And you're kind of thinking like, how is Google Maps not picking this shit up? But there must be some way of masking it. There's a tree that is like very slowly just wandering around the garden. Just on its roots, just slowly crawling walk all over the garden. There's a pond you can't really see your reflection in, and you get a sense of vertigo as you look into it. And other little oddities around the house, around the gardens. But yeah, that's kind of it. If you do find one of these little symbols with the anvil, I'd say maybe in like one of these rooms downstairs, that has got a couple of little plates and bowls of a couple of things on, almost like an altar.
Okay.
As in there's small soft offerings of bits and pieces. Looks like the last time Lord Renwick cooked up the sausages, he gave one of the sausages onto this altar. It's up to you whether or not you eat.
I don't know how I'd feel about eating a god's sausage.
I wouldn't. Wouldn't recommend it.
Yeah, maybe not.
So yeah.
I don't wish to be smited.
It depends on the flavour of sausage.
That's true.
How good a sausage, yeah.
Anyway, let's stop talking about god sausages. Different conversation.
Different conversation. That's what Andy's doing later. Sorry. Is there anything else that Hendrix wishes to do?
No, I think I might just casually mention the repeating pattern to Liam. Just see what he thinks about it.
Yeah. Liam, you start to notice it after a while. There's just in every other room, just this little anvil symbols elsewhere. You can roll a religion if you want.
Does it mean anything to me? Can I roll? Yeah, can I roll?
can
Any
roll-
insight, is it? Or
It'll be religion.
religion?
Yeah. Just straight.
Oh god.
Let's go back. Sorry, I came off that thing. 15. Super obscure. You recognize it enough to go, oh, that's
I recognise that.
one of the yeah. I've seen it before, and I think it's from the Celtic pantheon. Beyond that, you can't remember.
Right. Okay. So that would be why
Celtic
I
pantheon, yeah.
remember it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah,
my
you've
family history,
probably
yeah.
seen it in Ireland, like you've seen the symbol, but it's almost like one of the little gods, like I'd say little gods, one of the ones that are less known.
Yeah.
When you think of, everyone thinks of Zeus if they go to Greek mythology, but so yeah. After a while, you guys are exploring.
I'll say that back to Hendrix. I'll say, I'm sure it's. I seem to remember it from my time from back home in Ireland. One of the minor Celtic gods, I can't put my finger on it. It's probably no use anyway.
Okay. Just interesting. Thanks.
Yep. And then after a while, Raphy and Darrell. So I think Darrell shows up first, and then
Yeah,
Raphy.
actually, I've been reminded by. I was supposed to be going to talk to Sergeant Clemens about the surviving Ruby Jacks.
Yes. Cadman, I'm going to get to you, but I wanted to see if anybody else is going to. I'll tell you what. I'll just outright ask. Andy, is Beren going to go to Gareth Smith or just do his thing and then head to the Battleview Manor? Yep, I can't hear you.
Can't hear
you.
You
are
No,
weirdly muted.
Sorry. Gareth Smith was the potion dealer, wasn't he?
The witch.
Which, no, he has totally abandoned that plan.
Okay.
And he is getting up early and driving to Epping Forest or to Epping and knocking on this
going
woman's...
straight away. All right then. Okay, cool. Fuck it, let's go for it. Let's do it in an order because I'm wary of time as well. Yep. So I'm going to do Cadman first, just because I need to spend some time with Cadman. I'll come back to Darrell and then come to you, Andy, if that's all right.
Yep.
Might end up on another cliffhanger. I'm sorry. Cadman, after spending the evening with Lucy, she directed you to Gareth Smith. You'd gone back to your cave, had your sort of chat with the Tankerobogus, your other little your friends and companions in the cave system that you're in seem to be quite happy. The hostel, the sanctuary of monsters, all seem to be quite content at the moment, though there is this stir of there's something happening. You don't quite know what it is, but there's like something. And then morning comes. What is it that you plan to do? You have the address for this person if you wish to have it.
Yeah.
Because it was available.
So I'll sort them out. We had the deal sorted out for my pre-installment payment, didn't I?
Oh yeah. The teeth.
So that should be turning up at some point.
Yeah. There's a weird because it's not ordered through like Amazon or something like that.
No.
You know that the delivery request has been so that they leave it in a box under a shrub close by the entrance to this cave, so that you know that at some point you'll come back and you'll find this box of potentially, you know, or you can go pick it up. It's up to you.
Well,
That's all been done with. It's not arrived.
Tell one of the
yet.
more responsible ones in the hostel.
Yeah. Okay.
Make sure that gets found and brought back and given.
I think. Oh no, that's not responsible at all. No. Oh god, that's going to be difficult to find a responsible monster. Yeah, one of them. There's like a little
They'll make me little favours. They'll do something.
Yeah, something. They're all sort of like keeping an eye out. Some of them have gone to. It's getting close to the winter times, and they've kind of flown the coop for a little bit. You know that they'll be back in the summer. So yeah, it's all taken care of. So you can freely leave and not have to worry.
Then I will head to via public transport to this witch.
Yeah. As always, you always seem quite lucky with the bus. As soon as you turned up at the bus stop, it turns up. You never have to wait. You know, it's almost like a little gift from Lucy for you. The car behind you though gets in a horrible crash. You know, checks and balances. Joking. The route takes you. You end up on one of those buses that go to literal bumfuck nowhere. It's just out in the middle of nowhere. Nobody's heard of this place. It's just the house by itself. You have to do a little bit of walking after this. The last stop, yeah. You find yourself walking for about 35-40 minutes to all down these narrow woodland lanes. Truly nothing else in sight, and you're like, is this really the right place? As you're walking along, and as you get to a bit of, you're on this lane and there's like really high hedges either side, and the path you're on is very sort of bumpy, and along the hedge on one of the sides there's a little wooden plaque that's sort of to the side, and it says the rookery on it, but from what you can see it's all just hedge.
I try and put my hand through where the sign is.
Okay. Roll me an investigation check.
Really?
Yeah. Cool. So you sort of place your hand on this hedge, and it's like solid, and start to sort of do this shuffle thing of sort of like finding an entrance maybe, and you get to a bit where it kind of gives way a little bit, and as you stick your arm in and try to push through because it seems softer here, you kind of end up getting yourself tangled up in these really thick like brambly type hedge bits, which for you being stony isn't so much of an issue, but you could imagine you'd be cutting, like if you were just a normal fleshy meat bag like the rest of the humans, you'd probably be all cut up by now, but you're actually not doing too bad. And make me a strength check. Yeah. You can push through. I think just because it's quite thick brambles, you're gonna take God, that's quite high. 6 points of damage just trying to push yourself through, because you couldn't quite find the right entrance. But you find empty space. You stumble out of this thick hedge, and before you is a rather old-looking cottage. And you can see there's a garden path, maybe about 3 meters to the side of you, where
Okay.
it would have been a lot easier for you to come through, but obviously you didn't realize that at the time. So, yeah, there's this hedge seems to completely surround this cottage. It's beautiful, but also quite eerie feel to this place. There's a crow on the top of the hedge that's squawking loudly as you've come through. Yeah, what do you do?
I'm gonna slowly and carefully walk up to the door and knock, but I'm also gonna cast Divine Sense.
Yeah, cool. You cast Divine Sense. You get
Better version for Fae as well.
Oh, is it the better version for Fae? So you can get Fae as well.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you get a ping of Celestial coming from the crow. The crow seems to be Celestial. You imagine probably maybe a familiar or something. It doesn't seem to be looking at you, though. It seems to be squawking indignantly at the cottage itself. And the door is answered by an older man, perhaps maybe in his late 50s, early 60s, sort of like not old man, like Ken's age. But he's he seems to be like annoyed almost, and he jerks the door open, and he goes, "You're late." And he turns around and goes inside, leaves the door open for you.
I'm guessing Lucy told you I was coming then?
Who's Lucy? And he's heading off into his kitchen.
By the way, I look like a rambler.
You look like a rambler. Okay, cool. Do you come in? Do you shut the door?
Yeah, I'll come in, I'll shut the door.
Okay. He heads off into an area. The inside very much reflects the outside. This cottage is old, very much that kind of wattle and daub inside.
Yep.
The nice beams of wood, but seems to be like they should be rotted away by now, but they're actually kept quite good and, you know, sturdy. You come into the area where he's walked into. There's a very large wooden, very used old dining table that's got like loads of cooking bits around it mixed with alchemical items used for cooking up bits. It's cluttered, but in that witchy way that there's like loads of bits of herbs and there's root vegetables randomly there, and a couple of bones, like a brace of like pheasants there that might be for potions, might be for food, you don't know. And he just, there's also on his kitchen side, you can see that there's a bunch of tarot cards that he's had laid out, but they're not like tradition. Well, some of them have traditional symbols on them. Some of them are like almost hand drawn, like maybe he's drawn them or somebody else has for him. And one of the symbols is gargoyle. And he turns to you and he goes, "You're supposed to be here yesterday. My name's Gareth, by the way. I'll give you a picture of what he looks like." Yeah, he's got grey hair.
Okay. So he can't be as old as Ken. He's still got hair.
It is gold, silver though. Gold, weird. Yeah, he's just carrying on as if like you're just a regular visitor to him, and he's carrying on doing what he's got. He's got a cauldron on the go, literally stirring stuff as you're talking. And he goes, "Who's Lucy?"
My friend who told me about you.
Oh, it doesn't show me who sent who. I just knew that you were coming today or tomorrow. Or
You said
yesterday. It
yesterday.
should have been yesterday. I'm sorry. What can I help you with?
Did the cards not, or did whatever not tell you?
All right. Look, it doesn't always work to an exact science. I just knew you were coming. All right. You were supposed to come with somebody else as well. And he goes over to the cards and he's shuffling through. And he holds up a card and it says Templar on it. Who's this? They were supposed to be coming with you.
I don't know. I don't read cards.
All right. And he shuffles them back into the deck and shuffles up and puts them in like a little box with a silk covering over the top. And he goes, well, you're here, so it must be something important because nobody ever fucking visits me. What do you want?
I got guided to you to try and we're looking for a vessel that can hold magical water.
So a cauldron?
Smaller. It has to be transported. We've got to go to
Potion bottle.
pocket realm that possibly has a fountain of youth.
A fountain of youth. I'll pull the other one. There's no such thing as a fountain of youth. If there was, I'd know about it. And he turns around behind him, and there's like a shelves of what looks like used potion bottles that have yet to be washed. You can keep talking to him, and he's sort of collecting a couple of bits.
Yeah, so with a group of people who've been asked to go find this place, and everyone went in different directions trying to find something to hold this. So apparently, if it goes in something mundane, it will lose its properties.
Well, of course, everybody knows that. You'd be an idiot to not know that. Right, here you go. Right, I've only got one of these that will last going back and forth between realms. Yeah, that should do. And he holds up like this very nicely decorated glass bottle. And it looks like it's got like vines and grapes and shit all over it. And he rinses it out in his sink, sort of like just doing this, and he plonks it on the table and he goes, anything else?
That's it as far as I'm aware.
Oh, well, do you want a cup of tea then?
I'd love a cup of tea.
All right then, well, don't stay too long. And he starts making this cup of tea. At one point, the crow comes down to the window and is pecking on the window, and he goes, fucking thing, and he opens the window and throws something at it, and it flies off, and he closes it again, closes the window. He goes, bloody thing's been bugging me for about 10 years now.
Is it not yours?
No, it bloody isn't. He just seems really cantankerous, and he just moans about everything because he's making you this cup of tea. But it's weirdly hospitable. It's like he gives you tea. He offers you like a tray of these like freshly baked like mince pie type things. Yeah, it's just all homemade shit. He obviously hasn't been out of this house for a long time. There was like a vegetable patch to the side of the house. Everything in here is like geared towards a more like a vegan lifestyle because he just doesn't want to leave. And yeah, if you want to ask him anything, you can. But he's just straight up giving you this potion bottle.
What payment do I owe you for it?
Well, the cards did say that you were coming. I feel like it's in poor taste if I make you pay for it, but
nothing's free.
Very wise. Who are you?
My name's Cadman. I'm someone that has to deal with Fae for quite a long time.
He scrutinizes you, gives you a long, hard look. And he reaches back and he grabs his tarot cards and he starts shuffling. And without even asking your permission, he starts to do your reading. And he doesn't tell you what this reading is. He just goes, oh, I don't know. Yeah. So you've just made a bunch of new friends, yeah?
Yeah, I suppose they have new friends.
Well, you've met new people. Friends is.
I've met two of them before. They're strange folk. But
well, I'd be careful
who
if I
isn't
was
strange
you.
in these worlds?
I'd be very careful. One of them's going to betray you.
Okay.
Yeah. Seems like quite a bad one, and he scoops his tarot cards back together, shuffles them, flicks over 3, and one of the cards that he'd originally drawn pops up again. And he went, "Yep, it's gonna be a doozy. Watch your back."
And the one who betrays you will get a sausage in payment.
It's clearly Darrell. It's all about those sausages. So yeah, he. Is there anything else that you wanted to ask him, or?
Do you have any healing potions? And you still haven't said what you want in payment.
Yes, that's right. Sorry, my mind tends to wander at my age. Let's have a look here. And he turns round and he looks in his notes for what potions he has. Here we go. So he kind of starts pulling out little potions here and there, and he says, "Right, well, I've got. You'd be surprised how little use healing potions have in this day and age, seeing as the NHS took my business away. I've got this one. It's a little old, but it'll do.
Good
Holds
to have
up.
as a backup.
Yeah, he holds up. I think it's more like a little string of 4 bottles. They're only little ones of for the purposes of mechanics, minor healing potions. I've also got this one, and he holds out a superior healing potion. It's like a bigger vial. And I've also got these, and he sort of gestures to these bottles and things, and I'm gonna just list you off what he's got, and you can. There's like 1 or 2 of each of these things. For the more expensive things, there's 1 of. Okay, so there's a potion of climbing.
Yeah.
Potion of cold resistance. Frost giant strength.
Okay.
I'm gonna
Diminution.
Thank you. Diminution.
Make you small potion.
Yeah, and make
Shrink.
you small. Yeah, that one. Obviously your healing potions. A potion of invisibility. Longevity. Water breathing, and that's it. So all of those things should be searchable on the items thing on D&D Beyond if you ever want to have a look, see what those are. And if you are interested in any of them, let me know. Now, and I'll tell you what the prices are. Fair warning.
You can sort that out afterwards. So
can do. Yeah, if you
they're
wanted
doing
to
maths
just
or-
say. Yeah, if you just want to say, I've bought a number of potions, we can work out afterwards exactly what that is, and I'll tell you the prices and everything. All right?
But I do want to discuss what his
payment.
price is for the
So he sort of rubs his chin, and he goes, "What are you gifted in?"
Mainly protection, but I see you had a nice garden patch out there. How would you like that to become extremely bountiful for an entire year.
I would happily take that as payment.
Seems reasonable.
Yeah, he seems very happy with that. And he said, I didn't have you pegged as another druid. And you could tell that round his place, he's a druid.
I thought he was a wizard.
Nope. He is a druid.
Oh.
Even with that picture, bloody hell.
Yeah.
It's the stuff carved on his chest was the...
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's a yeah. Yeah. He's a magic man. You see, there's different ways of people doing magic. That's his way.
Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's you could tell by like how heartily the things have grown, but it doesn't hurt to gain more, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Because and he'll take you on a little tour outside. It's not just his garden of vegetables that he's particularly interested in. He's got a whole garden of purely poisonous or medicinal plants.
Cannabis.
Yeah, yes. Do you know what? Fuck it. He's got a huge cannabis plant, and he's just like set up out there where you can sit and smoke of an evening. Wow, he's living the life. I'm gonna go live with Gareth. So yeah, he's got all sorts of stuff out there. It looks like a nightshade type garden. It's just everywhere. Ow.
Oh, I'm due for the next 8 hours then.
Yeah, harvesting stuff. Obviously, I'd say roll me a persuasion check. Like, to see how far this sort of arrangement goes. Ah, fuck's sake. Okay, cool. Yeah, you're best buddies now. Great, cool. He shows you how to come through the hedge without getting hurt. He explains to you that he doesn't like visitors, except the ones that he knows are going to come. His hedge once ate an Amazon delivery driver that got lost, and he heard nothing about it. Like, he had visit after visit from the Majors Council, and now he just won't have anyone from the Majors Council round. He just shoots them on sight. Yeah, and he'll sort of very grumpily just tell you about little bits. You could tell he hasn't had company in a
the
while.
Major Council, aren't they?
Yeah, you can tell me about that. Bane of my life. I was around before they were even here. Anyway, he kind of wraps your stuff up for you, and gives it to you, and he says, you best be off, but if you are going to come round again, bring butter.
Okay.
So yeah.
Very confused at him.
It's the only thing he misses, apparently.
Is that vegan butter?
Oh yeah, he won't say no. But no, bring oil. There you go. He says, bring oil. And unless there's anything else you want to do, you've now got
I'll spend 8 hours casting this spell.
Is it 8 hours? Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you guys sit out there. He takes a seat in his like wicker chair. It starts like getting quite late into the afternoon. You're sitting there just having a smoke whilst you do your thing. And at the end of it, he wraps your bundle up of potions up for you, and you can head off. And you all always know the way to come back now.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Whilst you're doing that, he's like giving you pointers on it. Almost like the older tradesperson showing the rookie around. But obviously, you know what you're doing. He's just trying to give you a hard time over it.
I'd just probably do it differently to him, that's the thing.
Yes, yeah. So he does it very, very differently from you, but he kind of watches what you're doing and seems sort of silently impressed. Yeah. And then where do you head after this?
Back to Renwick.
Cool. I think now everybody has. Oh no, we're still at. Let's go to Darrell first to do this thing with Spence, and then we'll go to Andy. So is Darrell ringing or stopping by Spence's place?
He'll probably go and see him. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you know where he lives. I reckon that you're good enough friends. Not like super best buddies, but just like enough to chat.
I know his sister. Yeah.
Yes, you've dated his sister. Yeah. How awkward do I
never
make this
talk to her.
conversation? Is she going to be there? Shall I make her be there? No, I won't. This time. You knock on the door. You hear a yell. Spencer's out in his back garden. It's his day off, and he calls you out the back, and he goes, "Darrell, what's up, mate?"
Right, Spencer. Got a bit of a job on.
Oh yeah.
Some guy called Renwick. He's got a bit of a job he wants done.
The old guy.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah. He's
used to work at St. Swithin's.
Yeah, I think I heard that.
Yeah, was a lecturer there.
Yeah,
it's clerics. Yeah.
He could be a bit dicey. He had a team tried to do it before called the Ruby Jacks.
Oh.
Now
Val and Seth are from the Ruby Jacks.
Yeah, exactly, and I appreciate you had us all on that job. Looking for that masked dude a while back, and
Yes, yeah.
I wonder what you had a bit of a low down on them.
On the Ruby Jacks or Renwick?
The Ruby Jacks, particularly Seth and Val.
Val is completely sound. She's one of the best rangers I've ever seen. She's amazing. Seth is her shadow. As far as I'm aware, they're not in a relationship, but he's always there. I like him, but he's weird. I don't know. They've got a weird relationship. I think that he's a bit of a wild card. He seems well enough. He's a cleric. So he's good at the old healing thing. He's clearly not that good, after what happened to old Jack.
Yeah, so what the Jacks, as a group, they were competent?
Yeah, as far as the council used to hire them for odd jobs now and again. I know that Jack himself had a bit of contention with his uncle, but they weren't like, not speaking or anything. It was it just caused a little bit of a rift sometimes whenever he wanted to come on a job.
Excuse my ignorance. Who's his uncle?
Hang on. Now I've got to have a fucking look. Oh dear. Don't ask questions. God damn it. Yeah. Augustus. Councillor Augustus Sinclair.
Oh, right. Okay. Oh, yeah. Right.
So, Augustus is an old... he's gunning for those senior council roles for sure.
Right, okay.
Him and Wildblood are the next in line for sure. Sinclair wanted Jack to join the Mages Council as a councillor or as part of the Order of the Shield or something, but Jack just wanted to be a kid for a bit. I think wanted to do his own thing.
I can feel that.
He wanted to go a little bit further than what the Mages Council would perhaps allow. Sinclair warned him that it would be dangerous, and sadly I think that obviously that warning didn't seem to be enough.
Good stuff. It's just we're going to contact him. What I didn't want to do is I'm try and get a read on him before we.
Best person to contact would probably be Val.
Yep.
Seth would likely be tagging along whatever she's doing.
Okay.
Is it to do this job that you're doing?
No, we just want to pick their brains. Is there anything to look out for in particular? Obviously, they went up against something they couldn't handle.
Yes.
Just a bit of a
Well-
professional heads up.
Well, you've already met them, so have you got their contact number?
Yeah, we have. Yeah,
Yeah.
we've got that. Okay.
Contact Val. She's the more responsible one, and yeah, she's pretty sound. And nothing, as far as I'm aware, we've never had any problems from them. They do their job. They do their job well.
Okay.
All right. Well, it's good to see you, mate. Don't be a stranger too much.
No. Tell Sarah hi. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Get the fuck out of my garden. and he chucks you out. Yeah. And then you can go and if you want to give them a call now, you can do.
Yeah. No, that's. I'll probably wait till I get back and then get the read from the rest of the group anyway.
Cool. So you start heading off towards the mansion. That's the fucking word. Andy,
Yes.
Baron,
Yes.
you head towards this address.
So first of all,
Yeah.
do I sleep well enough to get a long rest?
Yes, absolutely.
Right.
Unless you, for some reason, there's narrative reason that you think that you would be up all night. I'd say.
No, you told me I was quite exhausted.
Yeah, I was about to say you are quite exhausted enough, definitely enough to sleep.
Okay.
Yeah. So you head over to this address, and it's just a average area, nothing magical at all about this place. Just a council estate house. There is a woman that answers the door.
This is in
She's got-
Epping, correct?
Epping, yeah. A woman answers the door, quite tall, short, dyed red hair, so not ginger, like actual bright red hair. She's got a couple of piercings and such. She answers the door and she goes, hello?
Andy gave me this address and told me to contact her here.
Oh, okay. Are you waiting for her here, or are you going to go meet her at
She told me
wherever it is that she goes to meet people?
She told me that I would meet her somewhere in Epping Forest, but nothing more
In
than
the
that.
forest, yeah. She's so weird. Okay, cool. I'll send a message. You could head over there. She'll meet you over there.
It's a big forest.
I don't really know. She always just sends people here occasionally. They always seem to know where they're going, so sorry. She
Right.
doesn't seem to be able to know.
He takes a bit of notepad and paper out of his pocket, scribbles down his phone number,
Okay.
and says, "Tell her to call me on that."
Okay. Yeah, I think she's figured out how to use a phone now. And then she goes, cool.
Well, she seemed to be working some sort of
Game Boy?
Walkman, or no, they're not called Walkmans anymore, are they? They're called iPods
It was
or
probably
something.
it was probably a Walkman. She tends to collect like retro stuff. It's really weird.
Okay.
She's got a fascination with it, I guess.
Okay.
Anyway, I'll let her know. Cool.
Okay.
Thanks, Guy. And she closes the door. You start to head off towards Epping Forest.
So
Is
I'm
what
just
you
going to go and Google Epping Forest Visitor Centre.
Oh, cool. I don't.
I've
know
no
if they've
idea.
got one.
I've no idea.
Yeah, I don't think they have one. I think it's just Epping Forest.
I've got a feeling a lot of Epping Forest is a bloody housing estate these days.
Yes. So the housing estate that you're on right now, you can walk into the forest. That's where you are.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Um.
I'm basing this off of where my sister used to live.
Okay. More information.
So
you.
you can literally walk into the forest from the roads. You can literally just walk in, and it goes on for a while.
I'm going to drive sort of round the corner from where this woman is, find somewhere suitable, park my Land Rover, and then wander in.
Like a Londis there with a car park. You leave your car at the Londis.
Yep, sure.
and you start heading off into this woods. As you start sort of like waiting around for this Google to ping, you start to feel like a gentle pulling sensation towards a direction. It's coming from your amulet.
Okay, I'll head in that direction.
Follow.
But I as I walk along, I have got my right my right hand is sort of basically inside my coat pocket. Yeah.
Absolutely fair. And you start like being directed in very subtle ways by this pulling sensation. As you're going through the forest, you're well off any of the regular paths. You can hear in the distance people walking their dogs that don't even come close to this sort of area. You're walking for quite a while at the moment, and
I'm looking for any signs of the days. Am I walking to a magical part?
You absolutely do start walking past and into that haze area of, normal people would just automatically avoid because their senses are geared towards avoiding it, whereas you are recognizing it and actively walking into it. You're being guided into these areas, much more untouched by people. You don't see any litter around. These parts of the wood is very much ancient, not overgrown, but just kept by the woodland creatures and things that are there. You do get a feeling a couple of times of what's your passive perception?
Massive, because I've got a perception bonus thing.
Ridiculousness. I think you are one of the ridiculous
22
people. Yeah. You glimpse a couple of times and hear a child giggling. It's quite unsettling, but not in a you should be scared sort of way. Almost like it's curious and watching you. And you get to an area where there's a tree that's shaped in a way that you can sit on it, almost like a bench, like it curves and then splits off into two different ways. Behind this piece is an old piece of stone with a well-worn dip in it. That's got like a couple of twigs, berries on, and things like that, almost like an old style altar. And as you come to this area, approaching, not keeping her footsteps hidden, so you hear her approach, she's not being silent, is Andy. And she sort of heads towards you. She sees you, and she goes, "Hiya!" And she comes over. And she seems to have got that like youthfulness back, whereas you saw this quite a more serious side to her the previous night. She seems to have rejuvenated and come back to this like youthfulness.
Okay.
And she says, "Hi, sorry about yesterday. I didn't want to lose you. I didn't know where you'd come in from the hotel, so if you left, I wouldn't know where you were, and I've not seen anybody with, well, that before." And she points to the amulet. I suppose there's a bit of explaining to do. There's not very many of them, I should say. I'm no longer Andrasti. I'm just Andy Powell. Just regular old human now. It's kind of what happens when you're left with no followers and you die. Well, actually, it's not what happens. I'm somewhat of a special case, but I've got a patron of my own, so it's a weird situation. What happens is much worse. And I feel that perhaps you need some guidance on what might happen if he doesn't make it.
Well, as long as I was under the impression that as long as I worship him, it continues, and he continues.
How? I take it that you've been here for a long time.
I've worshipped him for a while.
And how many times has he needed to help you? Divinely.
Well, he grants me.
I'm not talking about spells or abilities. I'm talking about beyond that.
I don't remember ever helping me like that.
You don't seem to be remembering a lot. Do you mind?
There are gaps.
She kind of casts a spell. She seems to be almost like a cleric-y type spell, but it's not a cleric spell. It's she seems to be identifying what might be wrong, and she, at the end of the spell, she touches you lightly on your shoulder if you allow her to, and she goes, "Oh, that's not good. You been tampered with."
How do you mean?
You find yourself losing memories.
There are gaps, but then sometimes things come back. Things I have lived for a while, and I forget things, but I've always just put it down to my memory only being able to hold so much information, and when things happen, sometimes
I don't think it's that.
Recently, it's. I mean, I was in the Balkans 20 years ago, and at the time I could speak Croatian and a bit of Serbian, but I can't remember either of them now. I know I used to speak them, but I can't remember them now.
You forgot a language, a whole language?
And then
2 whole languages.
And then
things are much worse than I thought.
And then recently I was in the Middle East, and I remember that I could speak Arabic.
Whoa.
So things come and go, and I've sort of got used to it. And there's a couple of there are some people who seem to remember me, but I don't remember them, type thing. There are gaps, but it comes and goes.
You've definitely had someone messing with your mind.
No, I thought it was just
old age. Trust me.
Not old age. I'm in very good health, but my prolonged age.
Well, let me tell you, even with prolonged age, you don't have things that are missing like that. Your brain looks like a cracked egg. Someone has hit it. Magically. Not physically.
Okay.
It could be physically. I mean,
I'm sure it's been physically at some point as well.
I think there's a lot going on, and I don't know what your relationship is to. She points to your amulet, but he. I can sense that there's only so much left.
Of him. Or me.
I don't know. I mean, how long have you been together? It might be that you're feeding off each other at this point. Depends how long you've been together. It works like that sometimes with the Chosen.
The Chosen.
They used to call them heroes, you know, like Hercules and Odysseus, things like that. They were chosen to be either avatars of the gods or carriers, do great deeds. Not all of them survived, of course. You never hear about those ones.
Yes.
We chose them. I chose Boadicea.
Okay.
She looks quite fondly.
Yeah, I mean, he pulls out his phone, and looks at us as.
There's no reception here, by the way.
No. But does it show the current date? Yeah. So.
Jesus, how old is Andy? Your phone.
No. I meant as in does the days stop at anything showing?
Yes, yeah. It's just literally. Oh, it's not my phone on there. You
So
just open it and it says the date, today's date, and the time.
Yeah. Okay, that's what I meant. I meant more was the days blocking that. That's what I meant.
Yeah.
And he says, in answer to your question, I think I've best part of 900 years.
Still wouldn't have that level of, you know, going around in the old noggin. It's definitely something. Someone has happened to you. Have you got any enemies?
Probably.
Let me guess. You don't remember.
No.
Yeah, that's bad. But in a weird way, it seems like you just managed to avoid all the really sinister people out there that could really do a lot of damage with what you're holding.
Well, this is the thing. I've been carrying this around for all that time.
It's
And
weird that is. I mean, I can recognize it. There's not many of us, if I'm honest, and even in my mortal form, I can recognize like for like. Now, there isn't that many of us. Have you heard of the Divine Gate? Do you know what it is?
is that a religion check?
Yes. Cool.
I probably knew about it once.
Well, I'll let you know now. So she kind of scoots over and she sits on the bench, the tree that you can sit on.
Baron stays standing.
Yeah, she makes herself comfortable, and she kind of drapes her arm over the altar of this thing, kind of patting it affectionately, and she goes, "Well, so a long time ago, not before me, but I was on Earth at the time, which is why it didn't affect me. One of us actually, in our, so there is the Numen, which is spelled Numen, which are like pre-gods, I suppose is the only way you can describe it. The Numen are mortals that are born from being gods, a god seed, that know they will ascend. It's a way for us to live a mortal life in a mortal time frame to stay in touch with our followers. Does that make sense? Jesus would have been one.
Okay.
So Jesus was God, and when he didn't, that's a whole other story. But when we wanted to be amongst you guys, it was too much to just go around in our raw forms, you tend to undo reality in weird ways, and it just messes everything up. So we decide to be born, and we walk amongst people for a while, and then we die and descend again into the heavens, into our heavens, our own domains, divine domains. Now, around about what would it be in this time frame? I suppose on this calendar it would be the 2nd or 3rd century. There was one of us that decided to create the divine gate. There was too much of stuff going on. I also have poor memories. That's from going from being a divine thing to becoming human. That's a whole other business. Now,
Sorry, are you saying that I was once a divine being?
No, you're different.
Okay.
You're human that has been tampered with.
Okay.
Sorry. But anyway, she decided that there was too much of our involvement in the world. There was lots of stuff going on. Petty fights between, especially the fucking Greeks, man. They just ruined everything. So anyway, she decided that they were going to make a gate for the humans. I think you guys know them as ley lines. So the ley lines are a protection over the whole world. They feed the natural magics of the world to everything, but they also stop demons and devils and gods and celestials from being on this plane of existence. I was already here when that was taken, it was done, so I ended up staying. Now, there's some exceptions to the rules, as powerful fae, because they're technically of this world, and technically they're also some gods, but they find it difficult to travel between. It's very complex. I can't go through it all now. But he was already here. He must have already been here, otherwise he would have been destroyed, or not destroyed, but like locked in his heavens, along with the other gods of his pantheon. And I don't know how you found him, but you've managed to carry him around, but there's not very many like him. Can I speak with him? I would be able to get a clearer picture of what's happened.
He wishes to speak with you, I think.
That's good. We've never met before, so I don't know him. But if you don't mind, and
so I'll take out the amulet.
Yeah.
And but I'll leave it round my neck and sort of. I think he's keen for me to retain possession of the amulet.
That's probably wise. And
sorry, just to be clear.
Yeah.
I'm holding this with my left hand.
Yes.
My right hand is still on the hilt of my sword.
On the hilt of God's sword, yeah, that's fair. She puts her hand onto the amulet, so she's not gripping it or anything. She's just touching it with her skin.
Mm-hmm.
And you both feel this. You also get dragged into this conversation, and from the outside it must look like two people holding hands and their eyes have gone completely white, but for you, you're now suddenly in a completely different place. And that's where we're going to leave it for the evening, because it is 11 o'clock. I told you it was going to be a cliffhanger.
Always is. Well,
frequently with me for the moment.
Yeah, I know. It's all Andy's fault.
Yeah.
Yeah, stupid Andy.
Yes, well, sorry.
But it does mean that I do believe that the next session will be you guys going off, which is great because I got stuff. But yeah, hope you enjoyed it. If there's any questions, ask now or forever hold your peace.
No, I'm good. Thank you.
No,
Thank
it
you
was
very
good.
much.
It was a good session. Thank you.
Very cool.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for joining us, and come back next week. We won't have an Ian next week because he's abandoning us again. More holidays. This man has too many holidays. So we could be here next week, but obviously if we're another person down, it'll be postponed until the next week. So hope to see you then.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.